Hello, hi, good morning. This is Caron B Davis of Caron B Realty International, and hope everyone's had a wonderful week and we got through the rain. Hopefully, we will have sunny skies this weekend. Very excited this morning. I've been listening. A lot of people are traveling and or going on their trip, and like myself, you're probably you have an exercise routine that totally gets spoiled when you go away. And I was fortunate enough to meet Carey, my personal trainer, a few years ago, and I asked her the other day, could you share with us some exercise, just simple exercise routines you could do while you're traveling, just to keep that body in motion, and of all the probably eating and drinking you're doing, just to maintain some kind of balance that you're used to. And Carey's amazing. She always keeps it very interesting. And Carey, good morning. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to leave it to you because it's so valuable what you're going to share. And, just so everyone knows, Carey's a fully certified instructor in balanced body Pilates, gyrotonic expansion system, bar above, and is a Pilates suspension method instructors trainer. And I'm sure there's some of you that don't know what all those things are, but feel free to reach out to Carey or myself, and she'll definitely, she does group and private sessions, and it's just absolutely fantastic to get to know your body, and she helps you work through all the different exercises. So Carey, why don't we get into it and show us what we can do while we're traveling, or even when we're at our desk, or like this week. Unfortunately, I had to cancel my exercise routine with you because I was busy with a client in Maui. So why don't you go ahead and show us what we can do to make up lack of exercise?
Absolutely. So whether you're traveling, whether you're just traveling in a car, on a plane, or at your desk, there's so much you can do to stay active. So let's start. I always love starting with the feet. So starting with the feet, I could lift my heels, lift and lower the heels. And here I'm engaging with this bent knee, the muscle that's responsible for pumping blood back to our heart. And this can be done in parallel, which I'm here, my knees in front of my hips. It could be turned out, or it could actually be turned in. And so that's something I try and do in the airplane all the time. And then we can lift one heel and take our hands to just our chair, top of our chair, and use the abdominals to get the knee higher than the hip and pulse up, up. And I would say to do the heel lifts for about 20 seconds, 30 seconds in different positions, and then start to do these about 20 to 30 seconds, and then toe ball heel all the way down to the other side and lift up. You can really feel this in your lower abs. And 20 to 30 seconds feels like a long time. All right, and then I could take my feet down, lift the heels up, connect them, and now I want to work the outer hip. So I'll press my knees out an inch and in an inch, a little out, a little in. So no one's going to know that you're doing this just sitting at your desk. Out and in.
I would know they're doing it.
You might take it a little faster. It feels so good just to move while sitting. Okay, I had 20 to 30 seconds of those. And then you can come back to parallel and lower your heels down. Maybe you won't know this one, Caron. You can lift your leg up and extend and bend. So my knee is actually, the back of my leg is off the chair, and I'm trying to extend my leg. And this is challenging for a lot of people with limited hamstring flexibility. So if you couldn't fully extend your leg, you could just sit more forward in your chair. Then you can raise your leg to a lower diagonal. And you can hold your leg extended and do little lifts up. That's hard. 20 to 30 seconds will be so much of a challenge. You can do those in external rotation of the leg. You can do those in internal rotation of the leg. And it targets different hip flexors. One might feel better or worse than the other. Always make sure that you do side two. And I won't demo the whole thing, but you get the idea. So if I wanted to work my inner thighs and I had no props whatsoever, I'm just maybe sitting at my desk, I can make two fists, put my fists together, and try and drive my knees together. Squeeze and squeeze. You'll feel a lot of inner thighs. And if you sit up really tall and try to lengthen the crown of your head to your ceiling, you'll feel it in your abs as well. Again, 20 to 30 seconds of those. And now you kind of feel like you need to stretch. So what I would do to stretch is to sit in the front end of the chair and then drop one leg underneath the chair. I'm going to show you this on profile. If I sit tall in the chair, walk to the very front edge, and I drop one leg under, now I can use the abdominals to tilt the pelvis backwards so the front of my hip is going backwards, and now that gives me a nice opening in the front of the hip. And of course, you do the other side. I'm going to stay on profile for this next part. You can do seated abdominals in your chair while working. So if I take my hands to the outside of my thighs, I can then round my spine back. I can take my hands to the inside of my thighs and arch my spine. So it looks like this on profile. I'm pressing out with my knees, creating some tension, pulling in with my hands, and then scooping the abs back, and then stacking back up. Now I want to press in with my knees, and then I can arch my spine. Do you see that from? Round.
Yeah.
And arch. So now if I'm just sitting at my desk, and I'm doing that maybe without my hands, it just looks like this. Can you tell I'm working out? Little rounding and arching. So on the side, it looks like this. Round, I'll move my hands away.
I'm trying it.
Are you trying it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm finding a huge quiver. So I'm trying to keep the upper chest area neutral, but then tipping my pelvis. This is called a posterior pelvic tilt, meaning the front of my hip is going backwards. And then I'm releasing that. And I can do a little bit of a proud chest moment when I come forward. And there's the quiver, and there's the release. Quiver and release. Another one you can do while seated is you can take your hands to the top of your thighs. And you see that I'm extending one knee forward and then the other. And what do you see my hips doing? They're rocking.
Back and forth.
Can you see that? Yeah.
Yeah, and that works the waist you were mentioning the other.
Waist. This is one of my favorite things to do, especially on an airplane, because it's mobilizing the back as well as the front. So I'm trying to keep my shoulders, just they might shift a little bit, more or less square. If I can keep my shoulders more or less square, then I'm working more in the abs. There's going to be some movement, and that's fine. But this is exhausting. I would do 20 to 30 seconds of that. So we worked your calves, we did your quads, we didn't do your glutes, we went right to abs. But what if I wanted to do glutes? I'm going to stay on the sideways view. I'll walk myself to the front of the chair. This one you're going to be able to tell. And use my triceps, extend them. Now my hips are a little bit off the seat, but I can pelvic tilt and release. Pelvic tilt and release. Do you see that? This is a lot of glutes,
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. I'm starting to sweat. Then you can hold your tilted pelvis and squeeze your glutes and try and open the front of your hips. I would do about 20 to 30 of those.
That's a lot, yeah.
Right? And then release that. Good, so we did abs, we did the front of the hip, we did back of the hip. Let's do some arms. So I can take my arms, widen them out to the side. I need no weights for this. Here, I'm trying to get the elbows behind the waist. And we can just do little rotations like that for the rotator cuff. That feels really good. Once you get warm enough, now you can try and get your elbows to squeeze together. Squeeze, squeeze. So you're getting your lats, getting all kinds of stuff, but I can feel this all the way to my chest, and 20 to 30 of those. Now, if I want to take it to the very back muscles between the shoulder blades, I could turn my palms, they're about 45 degrees towards the ground with wider elbows, and now I can squeeze my shoulder blades together. Squeeze and squeeze.
That feels great.
That feels so good.
Yeah, it feels really good.
Yeah. Squeeze and squeeze. 20 to 30 of those, and you're going to need a break. So for a break, we'll take our arms down and do a huge shoulder circle. So drift your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. And keep going for about 8 of those. Those feel good. You can do the opposite direction, but for me, I prefer this direction. So that's what I'll teach today. And then if we wanted to go back to our arms a little bit more and get the front of the shoulder, we can put our arms to 90 degrees and lift up. Here we don't want the wrist to come over the shoulder. We want it to stay over the elbow. So you do these lower and lifts to target the front of the shoulder. And if I wanted to go back to rotator cuff, I could widen and narrow. Maybe do 8 of those and then add on. I could let my arms drop in front of my elbows and lift. Those feel really good. And then
My body's already feeling awake.
I can make a whole circle out of it. What if I dropped to my elbows and I started to lower? I drop my fist and started to lower and lift. Let's put that all together. So I'll come forward and then widen and then drop the fist in front of the elbows and lower down. I could do that direction for about 8. And then I could reverse it. Get the side of the shoulder, upright the fists over the elbows, narrow the elbows and lower down. I would target about 8 in that direction as well. And then you're going to feel like you want a little bit of a neck stretch. If you had any tension in your neck, this is really, really nice. I'll show you on the side. So if I take my seat to the front of the chair, but I take my hands to the back of the chair, now I have some resistance. I'm going to show you to the front now. And this feels like a nice chest opening to stretch the neck. You can lean to one side. Oh, that feels so good. Lean to one side and then turn the gaze downward. You get another head of the neck muscle. Come back to the side like you're dripping water out of your ear. And then stack all the way to the top. And the other side. Lean away. Gaze down. Come back to the side. And all the way to the top. Finishing with a nerve stretch, you can extend your arms to the sides of your shoulders and do the exact same thing. You're going to press away and lean in the opposite direction. Turn your gaze down, side, and back up. And the other arm will extend away and lean. That's a nice one to do anytime you're feeling stressed. The side and all the way back up. Now, if I felt I wanted to stretch my hamstrings, I could extend one leg forward. You can see me. One leg forward and hinge forward. That stretches the hamstrings and the glutes. And then the leg can windshield wiper internal to external rotation. That feels lovely. And then stand back up and do the other side. Windshield wiper. Hinge forward to deepen the stretch. And step back together. Last stretch I'll give you today is a twisting stretch. You take the opposite hand to opposite knee and my hand on the back side of the chair and then create opposition and twist. This is a really good one for digestion too. Great to do after lunch. And then the other side. And twist. And come back to center. And that's just a handful of ideas on what you could do.
Oh, that was wonderful. And that was like 10 minutes. And yet, I mean, I feel I'm ready to work now.
Right.
I'm ready to start my day because, you know, your body has to wake up, you know, and it's a great way to it's like the body breathing or something, right? Opening up.
Agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And before we go, we have Marianne's photos and today she's entitled it. Let me just share my screen here. Share. Here we go. Very interesting. She's titled it's the details that are vital. And I know with what you do, Carey, it's all in the details. It's amazing. And I know with our real estate, that's in today's environment in real estate, which is a little tougher. It's all in the details right now, how we're helping clients with whether it's buying or selling. And her photos today here, the first one is your eyes are drawn to the small bell shaped soft peach flowers of the Captain Cook tree, showcased beautifully at the end of its long green spiraling leaves. And this is a photo she takes, and then a surfer. Isn't this gorgeous? Teeny surfer. Cuteness factor of the charts, attracting a lot of attention to just simply a dad with a surfboard. So adorable. And of course, small pink flowers turn this bougainville into a flower arrangement.
Beautiful.
And this delicate and teeny flower was an eye catcher when backlit by the sun. So it's all in the details. And I agree, don't you, Carey?
I love that correlation. That's perfect.
Isn't that perfect? Anyway, thank you so much. It was so fun for me to join in and do the exercises this morning. And yeah, it's so important to know. Why don't you just tell us a bit, just knowing your body and just to be aware of it makes you just so more healthier feeling, and your brain clearer. I mean, there's so many positives to just knowing your body.
All the circulation benefits just from a little bit of movement. It's enormous. And yes, it adds clarity because of increased circulation, right?
Yeah. But thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. And thanks for being with us again this morning.
Thank you, Caron. Take care.